pleas from the Ukrainians, America has finally allowed Ukraine to use US missiles to strike deep inside Russian territory. So is this the game changer that could turn the tide in Kyiv's favour? The Americans had already provided Ukraine with the MGM-140 Army tactical missile system, but there were limitations on its use. Known as ATACMS, they're long-range ballistic missiles that can strike targets 186 miles away with a warhead that can hold about 375 pounds of explosives. ATACMS can have two types of warhead, a single high-explosive variant, as well as a warhead that can carry cluster munitions. Ukraine has said they could be used to stop or slow down troop movements or destroy Russian air or military bases, which would help Ukraine in the defence of its own territory. And this map shows how far the missiles could reach inside Russia and the potential targets. They include airfields, ammunition warehouses, radars and missile bases. Now, on the face of it, it's a big military edge, but the Russians are already responding by moving hardware and personnel out of range. The Biden administration has made clear it's the presence of North Korean troops here in the Kursk region that pushed them to change their minds on the use of ATACMS. It means the Ukrainian army can now use them to repel Russia's anticipated counteroffensive in Kursk. Ukraine captured this territory in August and is now attempting to defend it. President Biden's decision will likely see the British government follow suit, allowing the use of its Storm Shadow missiles. Storm Shadow has a shorter range, about 155 miles, and it's launched from an aircraft. But the Russians are furious, seeing this latest development as a major provocation as it crosses some of Putin's red lines. They've not made clear how they'll respond, but a response is coming. It could take the form of support for the West's enemies or even a cyber attack on its interests.
The Russians are plainly very angry. There are things they could do. They could, for example, supply missiles to the Houthis to use against Western tankers in the Red Sea. I think they're likely to be quite constrained because they are looking forward to Trump's arrival in the anticipation that Trump will put pressure on Ukraine towards doing some sort of a deal. And they won't want to take any actions which complicate the likelihood of that.
Allowing long-range weapons to be used deep inside Russia is a major development. It will certainly be a boost for Ukraine's morale at a time when it's losing ground in the Donbass. But it's unlikely to change the trajectory of the war in isolation. The deep strikes will, though, be a complication for Moscow. It will make it more difficult for President Putin to present the war as an overwhelming success, especially if Russian military assets start blowing up well inside its territory.